three. 123. Thanks, Karen. It looks like we're live on YouTube now, so we can get started.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, committee and guests. Members of the public are advised that individuals and the media may be audibly and/or visually recording this meeting. And please note that while the meeting is open to the public for observation, any member of the public wishing to provide comment on any of the agenda items are encouraged. Is that okay? All right. Any member of the public wishing to provide comment on any of the agenda items are encouraged to contact Cultural Heritage Planning staff or may choose to give a delegation directly to the Hamilton Municipal Heritage Committee. I would like to call this meeting of the Heritage Permit Review Subcommittee, August 18th, 2026 to order. And please note that quorum is present. All right, so you have before you the agenda for this meeting. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? See Sandra and I see Andy. Okay. And is there anyone opposed? Okay, seeing none, that motion is carried. Are there any declarations of interest today? No declarations. And also, Matthew, since your camera's not on, if you do want to speak, please indicate by raising your hand electronically. That would be helpful. Okay. So I see no declarations of interest declared today. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. So you have before you minutes HPRC 26007, July 14th, 2026. I would like to comment. Oh, go ahead, Sandra. Yes. Oh, you're going to. Okay. I would just like to comment that Sandra's name is spelled incorrectly throughout the minutes. It's an AR at the end, not ER. So anybody who's writing up minutes going forward, pay attention to make sure we document these things correctly. Other than that, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? I see Sandra and I see Graham. And is there anyone opposed? Seeing none, so that motion is carried. So on to the heritage permit applications for this evening. So that's under section 6 of your agenda. So I assume, Lisa, we're moving ahead with the agenda as it's written at this point. So the first application is HP 2026-23 pertaining to 295 Bay Street South in Hamilton, which is the Durand Markland Heritage Conservation District. It's within the Heritage Conservation District, so it's part 4-5 property. And the application is for removal of 5 trees along the public right-of-way. Is the application, a representative of the application here to speak to the application this afternoon?
Hi, Karen. I'll be speaking to the application.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add then to the very simple summary I gave, Lisa?
No, just want to flag that this was a request from forestry. So these are trees that are low hanging and they impede pedestrian and traffic. So the trees aren't specifically dead, but they are impeding safety and traffic. So we'll need to remove them.
Okay. Are there any questions from the committee? Okay. I have no. Oh, Graham, please go ahead.
Yeah, just a standard. I just want to make sure, are they replacing these trees with the correct species?
I can pull up the photos, but there are several layers of trees in this area. So they're removing 5 of the ones that are on the most outer edge, and there will still be a barrier in between. So it's just that the property owner had planted quite a few trees in there, and now they're overcrowding.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Comments? All right. May I see the proposed conditions, please? Okay, and so these are the 2 standard conditions. Any changes to be submitted prior to commencing any alterations, and that there's 2 years from now until the expiry. Lisa, are we still keeping the 2-year expiry, or are we going to move to the 3-year? Can't recall what you said.
We are looking to move to a 3-year expiry as part of our procedural bylaw updates, but until that goes through, we're sticking typically with our standard 2-year unless the project deems necessary.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so may I have a mover and a seconder to recommend approval of Heritage Permit HP 2026-023, subject to these staff recommended conditions? I see Andy and I see Matthew. Is there anyone opposed? Okay, seeing none, that motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, so item 6.2 on the agenda this evening. It's permit number HEA 2026-001, which is property 286 Victoria Avenue North in Hamilton, which is the Babies Dispensary Guild. And that is not designation, it's a municipal heritage easement agreement. And do we have, okay, sorry, the application is for replacement of the HVAC system, including penetrations along the side of the building for ventilation, and installation of new utility meters and associated openings. Now, please note that this heritage permit is for retroactive approval, as the work has already been completed by the applicant. Do we have a representative of the application here this evening who'd like to speak, add any further details, and take questions from the committee? Lisa?
Hi, Karen. I believe it's one of the phone numbers that's
Hello.
there. So, oh, yeah.
Hello.
Okay, yes,
Hello.
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Lisa, for talking about that. And we have the permit to do the HVAC from inside, which requires venting to the exterior of the wall. There is no big penetration, just a few pipes sticking out, and probably the AC air conditioner going on one side. And that's it. Nothing else. Nothing changed at the front. The front will change the front door, and other than that, there's no other penetration from on the side and the front, other than the back.
Okay, thank you. And could you introduce yourself as well, please?
I am Michael Khalil. I'm the project manager for the owner there.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Okay, so are there any questions from the committee for Mr. Khalil? I see Graham. Please go ahead, Graham.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how big these penetrations were for ventilation, because we just
Yeah,
mentioned that it was just for piping for the HVAC, and ventilation is a different kind of word, different meaning.
it is a HVAC. It is a venting for the water heater and the HVAC system, which is like a 2-inch pipe.
Oh, so that's the only size then, the 2-inch. Okay.
Correct. That's just a 2-inch pipe coming out of the wall.
And is it the very back?
There is at the back. The back is the venting. The side is those white pipe that is a 2-inch pipe coming out. When it's on the what is it, on the east side, east west? I'm not familiar with which one is east and south in there. On the north
so
side, I think.
So I'm sure as Lisa's put the south facade on the screen that we can see, maybe you're not able to see it. Is that the area that the holes went through?
Hi, Graham.
On
Through
the
the chair.
parking lot
Yeah.
side is where the hole went through. Yeah.
Yeah, so through the chair, there were openings on this side here where the new utility was installed. So there's 4 new openings in the brick, and there's one down below. And then there was bathroom ventilation on the north facade. So these 2 openings here where vents will be put in.
Okay.
And then most of the other utilities are going through the east facade, which is not protected by the Heritage Conservation Easement Agreement.
Okay. It'd been nice if we would have had this before it was completed.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, are there any further questions or comments from the committee? Okay, I don't see any, and I don't have anything to add. So as this is a retroactive approval, there's no conditions recommended as it's already been completed. And so may I have a mover and a seconder to recommend, I guess, approval of this, retroactive approval of this heritage permit, HEA 2026-001? Mover and a seconder? Andy? And Steve, thank you. And is there anyone opposed? Okay, seeing none, that motion is carried. Okay, I believe that Mr. Khalil, you are our next applicant as well for the next item. So stick around, please. So this next item, 6.3, is HEA 2026-002, pertaining to 286 Victoria Avenue North, the Hamilton Babies Dispensary Guild, same building, which is under the Municipal Heritage Easement Agreement. And the application is for replacement of the existing front door, including installation of 2 doors with glazing inserts painted to match the existing door. So, is there anything you'd like to add to that description, Mr. Khalil, before we have any questions or comments?
I know the existing doors that we are replacing matches the new door we are installing matches the existing door, and we are putting a glass insert to mimic what is already there. It is broken now; it's blocked up by a plywood. We're trying to replace it. That's all I have.
All right. Oh, okay. So I think I see Sandra. Do you have your hand up, Sandra?
I do.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes. So I had a look at the photos that were provided, and I had a question about the proportions of the replacement door do not match the original door. Can you explain why that happened, and if I'm misreading the photos that were shared?
That is just a photo that is taken not to scale. The what is there is a double door. That photo is there exactly fit to that opening. We are not increasing the size of the opening. We take the double door out. We are installing the same double door. The photo is just not proportional, not to scale. That's what it is.
So are you able to provide a photo that is to scale so that we can compare the before and after?
I mean, the brick is there. I can't even find a brick to replace that brick. So I cannot cut the window out. I cannot cut the wall out. The guys are measuring it. They measured it. They're just taking that out and putting this in. That's all we have to do. We don't do any alteration to the facade.
I don't think I was implying that. I think the question I was asking is, can you provide an accurate photo that shows the before and after?
Yeah, when I am done, yes. Once I'm done, yeah, for sure.
Hi, Karen.
Or-
Do you mind if I jump in?
Please
through the
go
chair?
ahead. Yeah, sure. Thank you, Lisa.
So this permit's not retroactive. This is work that he'd like to do on the building. So the proposed photo is just simply an example of what he's proposing to put in there. The opening will stay the same and the dimensions will fit the existing opening. So he doesn't exactly have a before and after at this point because he is getting full prior approval before installing this one.
Okay, so it's a proposal. The photo that is there is a proposal.
Yeah, it's mostly just for the design.
Okay, so I'd like to ask if we can see the entire building with your proposed door, please, at the right scale.
Just as
Sorry,
a,
I'm not understanding. I'm not
Are you asking
understanding.
as a
I'm not
drawing?
understanding that question.
Sandra, are you
Hello?
asking as a drawing before it's, is that what you're asking for?
A photo of the picture, a photo of the proposed door was provided, yes?
Well, yeah, but that's just to give you an idea of there's glass in the middle and there's, metal on the outside. But so you're asking for, you would like an actual dimensions drawing of the proposal with the new door in? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, perhaps a shop drawing. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, any door company can provide you with that.
The shop drawing is just a dimension drawing. It won't show you exactly what a photo looks like. Unless the door is manufactured. That's what it is. That door is specially made, and once it is there, we have to mimic the color and paint it. I can only do it once I install.
And actually, okay, so I believe if you see the conditions, the final details and specs will be submitted to city staff, the heritage staff, prior to final approval of this. If so, it's either, I guess, a choice of do we need to come back to this committee, or are we comfortable with leaving it in this heritage staff's hands to make sure that it is actually, you know, basically identical to what is currently being replaced.
If just to make this clear, and we are in the final stage of finishing what is inside. We have a security issue in that area. We are in the stage that we're really rushing to change the door. I don't think we have time to go to the next hearing again. Please, you need exception here.
I mean, if it's in the conditions, then I would be comfortable. How does the rest of the committee feel about that?
I just got a question I wanted to ask before we get into that far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, we'll set this aside. Graham, please, you can ask your question.
Did you expect how badly damaged is this door? Is it beyond repair? That's the first thing.
First of all, that door is rotten up. It is broken down with the vandalism, and they all went inside and stole our $80,000 worth of elevator equipment. There is always break-ins and break-ins. We're trying to do glass to mimic what is there, which we're supposed to do steel door there and knock it out because they get broken every day. Probably the best solution is maybe Heritage can insure that for us and we can do it the right way, and maybe there we'll see what happens. Every day there is a break in there. I found homeless in that house. I can't even renovate it. That's
Okay,
the
so
problem we have there. You know
yeah,
what
I
I
just wanted to
mean?
say, I wanted to ask that question. So I am comfortable if that's the style of door that you were going to order, and it's just going to be scaled down to fit. I don't really
Yeah,
have a problem with going to staff to
yeah.
say
yeah.
let them
Thank
do
you.
it.
That's exactly what it is. We try. I went through with Lisa. Like I tried so many things. First, I thought I'm gonna do steel door. When I realized that it's heritage, and we mimicked it and tried to make it wood look, mimic what is there, and we even take the chance to mimic it with the glass again to give it the same look. Which technically we shouldn't do glass there. To be honest with you, it's ridiculous what is going on down there.
Are there any questions from anyone else in the committee? Okay, I have a question. Just the glass that you're replacing, that you are putting in the new doors, is there some special, a strong glass that is resistant to breaking?
There is no glass. There is no glass that resists breaking. Any glass can be broken in. They just need one hammer. See you later. You know, the way they break is different, but there's no glass that can resist breaking. There's no bracket there, right there.
Yeah.
Unless maybe, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
just doing it a little bit of frosted glass that they don't see through, just to mimic what is there. I'm very heritage oriented, you know, even the company does. So we're trying to accommodate what is there. That's all about it. And then we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna jump in here. I'd like to see the hardware that's on that original door. I don't see it in the proposal. Are you suggesting that the hardware will be the same?
To be honest with you, I don't even know what hardware was there. When we bought the building, the door is already smashed out. No, the hardware there. Unless you tell me what hardware you want, I can put it there. There's no problem there.
It's your photo that's in the report, right? Whose photo is that?
Yeah. But there is no hardware there. Just the door is broken up. You can see it on the photo. It's covered with the plywood.
If you look at the caption on the one picture that shows the hardware, it says Google Street View.
That's fine. It's not, if the hardware is there, there's no issue there. I can replace that hardware, no problem. Whatever you guys want, no issue there. That's easy to do.
So is this a wood door that's going to be replaced, or it's what kind of a door is it?
It's a wood-looking door. fiberglass, good-looking door, stronger insulated door. I cannot put a solid door, a good door, then it's gonna rot again. So this one looks a fiberglass, but it looks insulated. You can't tell the difference.
Okay, so it sounds like the committee is concerned that it be a sympathetic design in terms of what the look is and the hardware and all. And so is there something we can, well, I guess that's sort of part of the condition. I guess we could build that into the condition, Lisa?
Yes, we could do that. The other thing I just wanted to flag through the chair is that only the opening is actually protected. The doors themselves are not. So while they are replacing them, they're not original features, or at least weren't deemed protected under the HCEA. So we want to imitate the style, but the wood door itself is not a protected element. Just flagging that and clarifying that, but we can build it into the condition that's there already. I believe we were looking for the final details and materials to be submitted, details and specs to be submitted. So as part of that, we could look for a different material. We could work with the owner.
Mm-hmm. And do you consider the color as well as part of the specifications?
Not specifically, but the color presently matches the kind of brick tone color that's surrounding it. So I think a brown would be reasonable, brownish red.
Yeah.
Which I think is what Michael had indicated in his proposal as well.
Okay. All right. Are there any further questions from the committee?
Just really curious. Now, what's this building going to be used for when you're complete?
It's gonna be a medical office.
Okay, so do you have another entrance to this building besides that front door?
There is a side entrance, if you can see it on the side, on the parking lot side. I'm gonna do that. As that basement is not finished yet, we are just renovating inside. And then at the back there's a deck that we are doing, which is nothing to do with heritage of it.
Yeah, I kind of just think how you're going to fit with OD 8, like the Material Disabilities Act.
Say again?
Well, your door is very narrow and you haven't got a ramp.
There is a ramp at the back and there is a ramp on the side.
Okay, so you do have an accessible entrance. Okay.
Oh yeah, there is a handicap accessible at the back. There is a elevator inside too.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure you wouldn't be coming back to us to replace your door to comply.
And that wouldn't come to us though, Graham, right?
Well, no, but I'd have to come back to replace their door again. I like to mention stuff like that. That's why I was just kind of curious. I didn't see another entrance.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a very narrow
there is-
door going in.
No, actually, that is not handicap accessible. There is a stair inside. Go up, but it goes on the side. There is a ramp and there is another door on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can
So-
actually see that in the photographs.
I can see the ramp, but you don't know what it's going to. That's why I better ask the questions.
Yeah. Yeah. No, appreciate that. Okay. And Sandra, did you have another question or your hand is still up? I wasn't sure.
No, I have another question.
Okay.
Uh,
Go ahead.
The question is, are the doors the same size or is one larger than the other?
The doors are exactly the same size. Double door.
Because the photo that has been shared as part of the summary, the interior door and what I see is that the left side is larger than the right side. Are they equal in size can you confirm that, please?
Yeah. Is that matters though? If it is one larger than one smaller, it should be the same equal size that as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, if you look at the interior photograph, not the exterior so much. If you look at the interior photograph with the push bar, the one on the left is wider than the one on the right.
that is to show where the tracks are. Yeah, no problem. I'll verify that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, is there any further comments or questions? Mr. Khalil? All right.
No.
So we have seen the, we have, actually, Kira, could you please put up the conditions? Thank you. So we have here the two standard conditions, the bottom two, and then that the final details and specifications for the proposed door be submitted to the satisfaction and approval of the Director of Planning and Chief Planner. Heritage staff for part of that. So do I have a mover and a seconder then to approve, recommend approval of HP 2026-022? Oh, sorry, no, sorry. HEA 2026-002, subject to these proposed conditions. Mover and a seconder. See Graham and I see Angie. All right, thank you. And is there anyone opposed? All right, seeing none, that motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, so thank you for joining us, Mr. Khalil, and Heritage staff will be in discussions with you on next steps, and appreciate you
Thank you
taking.
very much.
Okay, all right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to item 6.4 on our agenda, HP 2026-022. Which is pertaining to 252 James Street South in Hamilton, known as the Griffiths Palatial Home. This is a Part 4 property, and the application is for repairs to the existing concrete front steps of the building and removal and replacement of the existing interlocking pavers with a sloped concrete pad. Do we have the applicant or representative of the applicant here to speak to the application this evening?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm the owner of 252 James Street South.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Liu.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything you would like to add to the brief description I gave before we go for questions or comments?
No, because it's fairly straightforward. I think it's a very simple project. Yeah.
Okay, so you've all seen the background information committee. Are there any questions or comments that you have for Mr. Liu? Okay, so Graham, please go ahead.
Okay, it only deals with the steps. Are they like original steps, or have they been replacement? Like, are they actually a stone or are they concrete?
No, they're concrete. They're being repaired many times, so it's not original.
Okay, that's all. Be my only concern. Pavers, you can do what you want with. I don't care.
All right.
Okay, it's
Okay.
just if those were stone, I wanted to kind of protect them. But if there've been multiple repairs,
No, they're not. They're not.
okay, thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else who has any comments or questions? All right, and from then just a comment from me. From what I understand, nothing outside of the stairs will be, like, none of the supporting columns or anything will be impacted, right?
Nothing. No, we're doing. We basically repairing what it is that's there now. So we're just resurfacing the steps. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And yeah. All right. Any nothing else from the committee then? Oh, Graham, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So you're not going to tear them right out and replace them? You're just going to patch them up again?
We're gonna break the top about 3 inches of the surface and then pour concrete.
Oh, okay. So more than just a patch.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad you came to us ahead of doing the work this time. Really appreciate that. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
Matthew, did I see your hand up?
You know what? I had my question answered. I was just curious about whether it was a structure. This was an issue of cosmetics or structural issues. So I think I had that answer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's cosmetic.
Okay. Okay. All right, then, if there's no further questions, Sandra, your hand is still up. Do you want that up or down? No questions. Okay. All right. Okay. May I then have, may we see the proposed conditions, please, Kira? Okay, so they are the two standard conditions. Any changes will come back for approval prior to the commencement of the alterations. And it would be 2 years expiry date on this application. So may I have a mover and a seconder to recommend approval of Heritage Permit 2026-022? I see Sandra and I see Graham. Okay, thank you. And is there anyone opposed? Okay, I see none. That motion is carried. Okay, thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
for coming in, Kevin. And
Yeah.
yeah, city staff will, I heard staff will follow up on next steps with you. Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much.
perfect.
Okay, take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Yeah, bye.
Okay. Our next application this evening is HP item 6.5, HP 2026-021, 398 Wilson Street East, Ancaster, entitled the Mar House, which is a Part 4 property. And so this is quite an extensive application. I will read it for you what is proposed. Consolidation and stabilization of the Mar House in situ. So where it stands right now is where work will be done to stabilize it. Removal of the existing rear addition. Relocation of the Mar House from 398 Wilson Street East to 17 Academy Street, which is around the corner, including structure to be lifted onto steel framing in one piece, structure to travel on a newly built path within the existing parcel of land and access the 17 Academy parcel from the rear. Structure to be placed and consolidated on a new concrete foundation. And restoration and alterations to the Mar House, once located at 17 Academy Street, including minor masonry repairs to the entire structure as needed. Installation of new exhaust vents on the roof. Installation of new exhaust opening on west elevation in the relocated orientation. So the building is being turned 90 degrees. And installation of 4 new basement window openings on east and west elevations in the relocated orientation. And construction of a new 1-story rear addition and deck to be finished in cream stucco. So do we have a representative of this application here this evening?
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Matt Johnston, a registered professional planner with Urban Solutions, here on behalf of both the owners of the Wilson Street lands as well as 17 Academy.
Great, thank you for joining us. Do you have anything you'd like to, okay, it looks like you have a presentation you'd like to give. If that's the case, we normally ask that you try and keep it brief. I'm not sure what you had in mind, how many slides you have.
Certainly, thank you. The intent of the presentation is just to provide some additional context. If you'd like to go through it in detail, that's fine. What I would conclude is that we've reviewed the proposed conditions of approval and have no concerns, and would be happy to have those conditions applied as recommended by staff.
Okay.
So I'm at the will of the committee if they'd like the detailed walkthrough, and it's about a 10-page slide deck, give or take, probably 3-4 minutes, and I could roll through it rather quick.
That's fine.
Sure.
That would be fine. Please go ahead. I'm sure the committee would appreciate it.
Next slide, Lisa. You could skip the next as well. So here we have the subject lands for a residential development application, mixed-use project, highlighted in red. We have the proposed site at 17 Academy highlighted in yellow, and the Mar Filippo House highlighted in green. Next slide. I'm sure there's some history with the Mar Filippo house that I'm sure you're familiar with, built in 1850, designated under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. And we'll go to the next slide. The mixed-use development application that I was referring to has now received final approval of the official plan and zoning bylaw amendment application necessary to accommodate the proposal. Incorporated with that is an existing heritage permit application that has been issued for the relocation of the Mar House to the rear of that property, actually onto Lorne Avenue, and it would form an accessory structure to the condominium. So that permit application has been approved, and I'd say we're probably about 80% of the way through the conditions of approval for that heritage permit. Now, when the final, if we go to the next slide, the reason for the relocation of the Mar House is primarily related to subgrade contamination. So in order to remediate the site, the relocation of the Mar House has to occur. As I mentioned, the existing heritage permit application accommodates the relocation to 17 Mar. Now, as we go to the next slide, please. Over the course of the existing heritage permit, there was restoration that has been completed to date. Most notably on the facade you see on the screen here, there was some bulging at the bottom of the property. That has been repointed and secured. And we also have a number of documents: building condition assessment, conservation plan, cultural heritage impact assessment, building relocation methodology, and structural feasibility review. Those documents have all been prepared and approved by staff for the existing heritage permit application, and in keeping with your proposed conditions of approval, would all be updated to reflect the proposed new location. Next slide. So it was really with the final planning approvals and discussions with Councillor Kassar that we explored other options rather than the existing heritage permit. And that is where the developers for the mixed-use building came across Mr. Ian Bartles and his desire, being a heritage enthusiast, to relocate the structure to 17 Academy, as shown on the screen here. Next slide. As part of the process, McCulloch Building Moving Company has been retained to complete the move. They're certainly a well-versed heritage moving company, and we've got, again, conditions of approval with securities in place for a safe and stable move. Next slide. We have just a little bit on Mr. Bartles, being a heritage enthusiast that he is, has currently completed some work in Ancaster over at 44 Gardner Road East. That's been really well received by the public, and it's nice that this arrangement's been made as part of the planning approvals on the final slide, Lisa. Again, there were the discussions with Councillor Kassar and staff on finding what would be thought to be a more suitable location than the existing heritage permit, and that is the new home proposed at 17 Academy Street. So as part of the planning committee and council minutes, the proponents made commitments to pursue this location, and this application and submission process is in response to those commitments made earlier this year. And as I mentioned, full support of the proposed conditions of approval, and would be happy to answer any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So are there any questions from the committee? Okay, we'll start a list. I see Graham, and then we'll Andy, and if anyone else. So Graham, please go ahead.
okay, there is a lot of areas of brick that has been done with wrong cement materials, and you can see cracks and stuff. Not rock, not brick, sorry, stone. What is being done to secure that before it's being moved? You're muted.
Through the chair, the there was existing masonry work that was poorly done over the years.
Oh yeah.
More recently, there was the bulging on the one facade that I mentioned. That required more immediate work. That work was carried out by a qualified mason, subsequently inspected by staff. Lisa's now showing a great picture of the restored facade. And that work would continue through the balance of the restoration, but most recently it was in response to some more immediate work that was required.
Okay, so that facade you're showing now, that's not in danger of any kind of collapse when they pick it up?
No, and we've got the structural reports that have been updated over the years.
Okay, that's good. Now, where it looks like the window has been removed off that upper floor, is that going to be reestablished when it gets moved over? Or is that up to the new owner?
That is up to the new owner.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we'll leave it right there then. No sense harassing you about that. I am very glad because I 100% oppose this building coming off Wilson. And that Lauren Avenue location was a horrible place to put it. It would be forgotten. It would be lost, probably vandalized. Now going at least onto Academy, it's going to have a use. It's going to be seen. And that's, I think, is pretty important. So I'm very happy to hear Mr. Bartles. And that I didn't realize that property on Garner Road was his, and I've stopped and admired it 3 or 4 times now.
Okay, thank you, Graham. We have a question from Andy.
Yes, through the chair. Just clarity, really. I see the picture now. There is a, it looks like there is a dwelling on that blue area. What is that building? Is there a structure there now where it's going to be located, where it's going to be moved to?
That's right. There's an existing dwelling at 17 Academy. A demolition permit has been applied for, so that's in sequence as well. And the Mar Filippo house would replace that dwelling on site.
Okay, thank you. And also through the chair, so that's not a heritage building that's going to be torn down, I take it? Nope, the one that's in the blue.
Lisa, you can confirm that, correct? It's not here.
So through the chair, it's not, it doesn't have any heritage status. And when we were in talks with the applicant initially, we did do an initial review of the building and determined that it didn't have much heritage value. So we were generally comfortable with the proposal to demolish and replace with the Mar Filippo house.
Okay, great, thank you. And just one more thing, when it's located over there, is the frontage going to be on Academy? Is that the idea for the placement of the building?
That's right. The front doors currently fronting on Wilson will be oriented towards Academy.
Okay. Okay, great. I also like to mimic Graham's comments regarding where it was initially going to go. It really is stuck in the back corner in the middle of nowhere, kind of a dead end street on Lauren. And I agree with Graham, it would be kind of lost. Being on Academy, it'll be more up front. So I think that's a much better location. And just curious, the work that has to be done on the original site, that building is going to be far enough that it's not going to be affected by the digging and the reiteration of the site itself. I know the building's got to move; they got to dig down deep, so it's going to be far enough away to not have any kind of vibration damage or anything like that from that work.
Through the chair, that's right. And as part of the site plan conditions of approval, there are really checks and balances to ensure that not just for the Filippo Mar house, but all residential dwellings in immediate proximity are not damaged by any earthworks.
Okay, Great. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Is there anything else from any of the other committee members? Okay, I had a question, and I mean, I was really pleased to see the attachment from the moving company with the photographs of these buildings being moved. And these are successful moves that they've made before of heritage buildings. And it's, I mean, I couldn't quite picture how it works. So it was interesting to see them all up on the trucks like that. They said these are the successful ones. Do they ever have it when they fall down? Like, you know what I'm saying? When it collapses in moving, how common is that? Do we know?
To the chair, I'm not that familiar with how often that may or may not occur. We do know that there's a very limited amount of expert movers that can do such a move. So McCulloch is very well versed in this type of thing. And what we do have is securities in place for 100% of the costs. Should anything go wrong, there's still that financial security to reassemble and complete the move should anything go wrong.
So thank you. Yeah, I did read about the securities. As part of that, then, just in the worst case scenario, will all those pieces, like would the bricks all be labeled before the move occurs, such that in case anything bad happens, we actually know what was where? You know, like when they took apart the Hermitage, they took every brick and had it all numbered and labeled, so they knew exactly how to put it back together.
Right. I have been involved in projects where the facades are cataloged prior to dismantling and reassembly, but because that's not happening in this case, it is a lift. I don't believe that would typically occur in such a scenario.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I mean, I wonder about asking the moving company whether that's part of what they do. It's just, to me, it looks so fragile, and it's such a risky move to me. I would also like to echo what Graham and the others have said. It's much better place on Academy, out visible to the public. It's a beautiful building, right? And having it in the back as an amenities building would have just been very negative. So this is great, but I'm still concerned about the move. Anyhow, was there someone speaking there for a second? Was that Lisa?
Yes, it was Sandra.
Sandra, okay, please.
Yeah,
go.
no,
Sandra.
I wanted to add that there was a report that was provided by Odrovich, and he's a structural engineer
Mhm.
that is well versed in the field of heritage. So oftentimes when we as architects work with structural engineers as well as McCulloch, we do ask for the rationale to be stamped by a structural engineer, who have done those measurements to ensure that the building doesn't fall off. So there's a lot of work that's done ahead of the actual move to ensure that it's secure.
It's not that I'm thinking it's going to fall off. I'm thinking it's going to collapse. The possibility of collapse just because it's so old. That's all. I'm not saying they're going to make a mistake and it's going to slip off or anything. That wasn't what I meant to imply.
They also look at that. So in terms of the structural kind of component of it and how it's moved, how it's held together,
Yeah.
and all of that, it's probably a very heavy building with how wide those walls are. So I'm sure that's part of the calculations.
And actually, also, there was never photographs of the inside of the building. So this is to the applicant. Is it an empty shell right now?
The interior of the building, it's not an empty shell. It has been, it has demising walls, but nothing structural on the interior. So there will be sort of substantial renovations to the interior to make it a well-appointed home.
Once it's moved.
Once it's moved, and that occurs after the move. And if I could just expand on that, the relationship between Orlick, the structural engineer, and the building moving company, the completion of these reports prepared by and stamped by professional engineers, there's considerable work done into investigating the stability of the structure before the move occurs, and McCulloch won't take on the move without having those checks and balances in place. So there's quite a bit of energy spent on being satisfied that the structure can handle the move before that commitment's been made. So even before we got to that point, the notion of dismantling and cataloging and reassembling was briefly considered, but because the structural integrity is so sturdy, there's confidence in this lift and relocation as opposed to cataloging, disassembly and reassembly. So I think we need a little bit of trust in the process and the securities in place with those conditions that we have in front of us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Are there any other questions? Graham, please go ahead.
Yeah, more of a comment. If you were to take a look at the attached documentations to the Lori McCulloch, if you look at page 4, the building they're moving is a lot more in a fragile state to move than this one. There's a lot of openings at the grade level where they had to support lintels and upper walls. They've done a really good job of it. I was a millwright in trade, so I moved a lot of heavy things over the year, and shoring stuff up really makes a difference. And the amount of cross beams they put into that structure is phenomenal. Normally you see a house moved, there might be 4, like a normal wood frame house. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 that you can actually see. That's a lot of beams. So I'm pretty satisfied by this company, judging by that picture and what you can see.
Okay. Okay, then. That being said, if there's no further questions, may we see the proposed conditions, please? Okay, so there, I mentioned there were a significant number. So let's go through the ones that are the non-standard conditions, just to make sure we've all heard them. So the final details of the proposed alterations to the structure, once it's located at 17 Academy, including proposed vent covers, basement window specifications, be submitted, okay? And that the proposed masonry restoration work conform to the city's masonry restorations guidelines. And that the final details and specifications for the proposed masonry work be submitted. Next page, please. That the designating bylaw 7887 be repealed in accordance with the requirements of the Ontario Heritage Act at the expense of the owner, and that a new designation bylaw be prepared in accordance with the requirements of the Ontario Heritage Act for the building's new location at the expense of the owner as well. That a new survey be prepared to accompany a new designation bylaw indicating the boundaries to which the designation applies. That the applicant enters into a heritage easement agreement with the city to the satisfaction and approval of the Director of Planning and Chief Planner prior to the issuance of any building permit for demolition or new construction, and that this agreement is registered on title. And next page, please. That a letter of credit be provided to be held by the city based on the cost estimates for 100% of the total cost of securing, protecting, stabilizing, relocating, monitoring for a period of 3 years, and the total cost of restoration. And such cost estimates shall be in a form satisfactory to the Director of Planning and Chief Planner. And then the last 2 are the standard conditions that we always see. So given those proposed conditions, may I have a mover and a seconder to recommend approval of this heritage permit 2026-021?
Can I make one comment on this?
Okay, yes.
Okay,
So
you're gonna give them 3 years to be monitored. Shouldn't you give them 3 years to finish the permit?
This does sound like a big one to me too as well. Lisa, what do you think?
So through the chair, these are also conditions that will be put into the staff report, which will be coming to HMHC. So at that time, we can adjust those dates to reflect a more accurate
enough.
timeline.
Okay. All right. So 3. And I saw Sandra, you had your hand up. Yes, please go ahead.
I'm putting my hand for the motion.
Okay, that's great. I wasn't sure if you had a comment on the conditions. Matthew, same as well. You didn't have a comment. You were just motion. Okay. So do we have a mover and a seconder to recommend approval of HP 2026-021, 398 Wilson Street East in Ancaster? And I saw Sandra and I saw Matthew, I believe. Okay. And is there anyone opposed? Seeing none, that motion is carried. Okay, great. So, yes, Matt, city staff will be in continued discussions with you, I know, on next steps, and wish you greatest of luck in this project.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with us tonight.
Thanks.
Okay. And we have one more, and actually that as well is Mr. Johnston. So this is a pre-consultation. Are you leaving? Is someone else coming in your place? Yes. So pre-consultation, item 6.6, 440 Victoria Avenue North in Hamilton, which is a Part 4 property. And it's for a proposal for a new addition on the north elevation of the existing structure. And so do we have someone who would like to speak to that application, applicant or representative?
Hi, good evening, everybody. It's Megan Hobson. And I'm here with Rick Lentak, who's the architect, and Matt Johnson, who's the planner on this proposal. And I have a short presentation for you.
Okay, wonderful. Well, welcome, Megan. Nice to see you. And Rick and Matt, thank you for staying with us. So did you have a question, Graham?
I have to make a comment here, and it's going to apply to Sandra as well. We have to declare a non-disqualifying conflict with Megan Hobson because we were on the local organizing committee together for the Heritage Conference this year. I didn't realize she'd be appearing today. I didn't make the statement earlier.
Non-conflicting, sorry.
Non-disqualifying conflict.
Non-disqualifying. Okay, and how long does that, may I just ask, Lisa, how long do those non-disqualifying conflicts go on once the event is complete?
Through the chair, I'd have to look into that and talk to Matt Gauthier about that.
Yeah, our committee's wrapped up, so.
Yes, but we're still doing the financials at the end.
Oh, true.
We haven't ended it, so until we finish that, it'll be done. I'll talk to Bargazian because Matt can't answer that. It'll have to be the commissioner to answer that question for me.
Okay,
Thanks,
well,
and just to clarify, this is just an information item today.
Yes, that's why I'm saying it's non-disqualifying. It's just you got to put it on the record. That's all it has to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll wait to get feedback on that. All right, so yes, Megan, please, I understand you have a brief presentation. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so we're here today just to present the development to the committee that will be part of a forthcoming heritage permit application. So this is for information. We're looking for feedback from the committee tonight. So the development is a new office for Stelco. And this is a project team. And if you go to the next slide, please. This is a historic photo of the site. So it was built for Otis Elevator Company. Later during World War II, munitions were manufactured here, and then it was the Studebaker plant. So it's got a very significant sort of history to the industrial sector in Hamilton. It's located at 440 Victoria Avenue North, and this is it shortly after it was built. You can see here the original windows and doors that were in the building in this photo, so that's why I put that first. Next slide, please. So this is it, and back in 2012, prior to designation and prior to a heritage permit that was issued to demolish the wings, the two-story wings on either side of the corner block. and the plant that was attached at the back as well, the industrial plant. So this is what it looked like in 2012. And you can see the windows in it are not the original windows, and the doors are not the original doors. Next slide. And so this is what it looks like more or less today. This is a Google view to capture both elevations on the corner. So on the left is the main elevation on Victoria Avenue North, and on the right is the shorter elevation on Ferry Street. It actually looks a little bit worse than this today. I have a couple of photos on the next slide to show you what it looks like. But as you can see, it's been vacant since 2012. It's boarded up, but it looks to be, it looks like most of the windows have been removed or broken. And there is paint and graffiti on the building as well. So it's doing fairly well, considering that's been vacant for so long, but it has been vacant for quite some time. Next slide, please. So this is a photo that I took just recently, and you can see this is looking at the back of the building. So this is where the two-story wings along Ferry Street was demolished, and you can just see that that exposed sort of side of the building is more or less open to the elements. And then if you look at the aerial view on the left, you can see the portion that's been retained, that corner section. And then in the red dotted line is where the proposed addition is going to go to sort of finish the composition and create new space for Stelco. Next slide, please. So here's the sort of floor plan, and on the right is the heritage portion, and you can see that all of it's being integrated and conserved. And on the left, the blue is the new addition that wraps around on that side, around the back where there's no heritage fabric. So the building was recently designated on Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act, and the Victoria Avenue North and Ferry Street facades, exterior masonry are the protected heritage elements. Next slide, please. So you can see that the addition is very complementary. It matches the height of the existing building, and it references a lot of the design elements and the sort of overall rhythm and composition of the building. And it is expressed in sort of contemporary style and materials, but with reference to the original materials and design elements. So the floor levels are all matched, and the first story sort of foundation with the rusticated elements is kind of referenced in the new base of the addition. There's larger areas of glazing, which is something that they need for the new office space. And then the cornice feature and roof are again referenced in contemporary materials. Next slide, please. So if you sort of go around to the side, this is where the sort of new at-grade entrance will be located, oriented towards the surface parking area that will be provided for the new use. And you can see how these corner elements kind of bookend the existing heritage building and creates a very balanced composition. Next slide, please. So just tracing the lines, and you can see how the horizontal and vertical lines are translated into contemporary design and materials. And next slide, please. And then looking around, so this is the Ferry Street elevation on the left, and then looking around at where you saw the earlier photo of that exposed elevation now is going to be all new materials and with this large sort of curtain wall look on the side. The darker elements that sort of match the brick of the original building is a steel cladding, and Rick is here to talk more about materials if there are any questions. And this just kind of ties in with the existing sort of palette, but in a contemporary material. and also appropriate for Stelco as a steel manufacturer. Next slide, please. This is one of the sort of Studebaker additions to the building, one of the Studebaker plant that was formerly on the site, and it has that kind of a curtain wall design, mid-century design. So this is one of the other former additions on the site. So Rico's kind of looking at some of these other buildings on the site as references for the new addition. Next slide, please. Also, you'll note that although it's fairly subtle, there's definitely a setback for the addition. So this is kind of, you can see on the right where it transitions between the thicker masonry walls of the heritage building to the thinner curtain wall buildings of the addition. But it's set back a little bit so that we can preserve that masonry corner detail where there's a return on the cornice and the brick. And also to differentiate the new from the old, but in a subtle way. Next slide, please. So this is kind of the current edition of the Victoria Avenue North main entrance on the left, and what was the sort of warehouse entrance on Ferry Street on the right. As part of the proposal, the masonry is going to be cleaned to remove salt staining, carbon soiling, and paint and graffiti. New windows and doors will be installed. And these, so the Victoria Avenue North entrance will continue to function as an entrance to the building. The Ferry Street entrance is not required for the new use, but the intent is to maintain the masonry opening to preserve the former use of that door is kind of relevant to the history of the site. And then beside the warehouse door on Ferry Street, you can see there's been an opening punched through the wall there, an event that'll all be removed with new masonry to match what was there originally, to restore it to its original condition. Next slide, please. So on the left, the new Stelco entrance on Victoria Avenue North. Retaining all of the heritage features, installing a new door, and then putting some signage up above in the stone. On the right is the Ferry Street elevation with that door restored with doors based on the historic photos that we have that clearly show that entrance. Next slide, please. And then we have, this is looking at it from Victoria Avenue North, so that you can kind of see the full effect. And those change in materials where the addition is located. There'll also be kind of skylights up above. There was an existing kind of skylight section there that's going to be incorporated into the new design. Next slide, please. So this is just going over how it's consistent with standards and guidelines. The addition matches the height, scale, massing, and rhythm of the heritage building. It's clearly distinct as a contemporary addition and complementary to the Edwardian classicism and brick and stone masonry of the heritage building through thoughtful design elements and material choices. The impact on the heritage fabric has been minimized by providing a setback where the heritage fabric transitions to the new addition. And in terms of the alterations, the heritage attributes will be conserved and restored to their original condition. The main entrance on Victoria Avenue North will be stored and will continue to function as a building entrance. The side entrance on Ferry Street is not required to function as a building entrance, but will be preserved as a record of its past use as an entrance to the former factory floor. New doors and windows will be installed based on archival evidence to restore them to their original appearance with double glazing to improve their energy performance. Next slide, please. And so overall, there's going to be a lot of positive impacts. The heritage building is currently vacant and at risk due to its poor condition. So that will remedy this. The heritage attributes will be conserved and restored, and they're currently not in great condition. The new use is compatible with the heritage value and the heritage attributes, and demolition is limited to interior features that are in poor condition. The new use as Stelco's office continues a historic pattern of use as the office of two major industries previously, Otis Elevator Company and Studebaker Company, and now as a headquarters for Stelco, another important industry in Hamilton. And the proposed alterations are consistent with the standards of guidelines. So I think that's it. When I was, so these are my photos from 2012 because I'd done a previous report on, and this is what the condition of some of the interior elements were then, but this was a long time ago. So we'll have to go back in again and assess to see if there's anything that could be salvaged. And that will be part of the heritage impact assessment that will be submitted with the heritage permit, forthcoming heritage permit application. And then there's also, potential for interpretive elements on the left. The site is already part of the Made in Hamilton Industrial Trail, and there's a marker out front. There's also a plaque already for the Studebaker Company in the park beside the site. And so perhaps some of the interpretive features might focus on the Otis Fensom Elevator Company, since the Studebaker's already been recognized and the city installed plaque. So there's some photos from sort of the extensive industrial buildings that were on the site formerly in the fire insurance plan in the center there, and then a look at the factory floor from years ago on the right. So that's everything for today. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Very interesting.
That wasn't today.
It was just on the edge. Do we have any questions from the committee? Oh, right, Matthew, I saw your hand up earlier, so please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I had a question about the figure of the addition. It looks like you're attempting to emulate the curtain glazing of the original. However, between the first and second floors, there appears to be, it looks like spandrel.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if your team considered utilizing a different material other than spandrel, one that might be more in the spirit of the original building.
I think that that would be open to looking at different cladding materials. If we're certainly here to get suggestions and get your eyes on it. Currently, it's a kind of a metal spandrel feature that sort of matches, the glazing as opposed to matching the masonry on the heritage building. But that could be another approach.
Did you have any further suggestions, Matthew, that you were thinking of, or no? Just, yeah.
I just spitballing, yeah, to as a potential consideration. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any thoughts from anyone else?
I have
Okay,
a question.
we'll start with Sandra.
Go, Sandra.
Then we'll go to Graham.
Thank you, Megan. Great presentation. I really like this project. I'm questioning the use of the metal butting up against the red brick. I think that the reference to metal is a good one, but in the illustration, I found some similarities between the brick and the metal, and I wonder if it's just the way that the rendering was presented, or is the red the right color to distinguish itself from the brick? I'm posing back, the question to the team. And I wondered if also the division of the curtain wall is appropriate. I feel as though if you want to share the elevation again, is that okay, Megan?
Yeah.
Or somebody?
Lisa will put that up. Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. So if we look at the division of the sort of the curtain wall, the cadence of the windows and the masonry openings is not technically represented here, and maybe that's where Matthew was going. I feel as though those units are much larger than the windows. The punched openings, I don't feel that kind of being echoed. Maybe there's an opportunity for another horizontal to be incorporated to actually represent the right proportion of those punched openings, those windows.
So you mean like the vertical bays?
Yeah, those seem very tall in comparison to the windows, Megan. And I just wondered if there was maybe another, horizontal kind of at the top.
Yeah.
I wish I could draw on top of
Yeah,
this.
I know what you mean, to bring it up to the windowsills of the heritage. Yeah, okay. Well, we can look at that. It's a good suggestion.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll go to Graham next.
Yeah. I think that overall, like the design looks pretty good. But you're talking about the honoring of the companies that used to be in there, and you made no mention of the Beaufort's plant that actually Studebaker was built for originally. Otis Fensom bought the building from the government of Canada because that was a Beaufort's anti-aircraft gun plant, and I hear nothing about the commemoration of that part of it.
Sure, manufacturing of munitions during World War II. I did mention that at the beginning, but yeah, that should be commemorated as well.
I think overall it's a pretty good deal. I'm just kind of curious what's going to happen to the old Stelco office building now.
I can't speak to that.
That's really not part of this.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Graham. Matthew, did you have a further question? No, thank you. Okay. Anybody else have anything they'd like to ask or comment at this point? Okay. I mean, I could say when I saw this project, I was thrilled too. I'm just, it's a beautiful building. I would love to see this happen. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starting to sound like Graham. Okay. So that being said, then this
It's
is
not a
just-
bad thing.
that is just a consultation. So may I have a mover and a seconder to receive the presentation? Okay, I see Andy and I see Matthew. And Matthew, and anyone opposed to receiving? Nope. Okay, so that motion is carried. All right.
For your time.
Yes, thank you all
Thanks.
for
Okay.
taking the time to speak with us this evening. Much appreciated, and hope to see you soon with the formal
you.
application.
Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Thank you, committee. So, as there's no further business, I adjourn this meeting at 6:19 p.m. And our next meeting is scheduled for September 15th, 2026. So we'll see you in a month. Okay? Thank you again. Appreciate all your time. See you soon.